I made a comment on Saturday in a space when the assassination attempt was failed. And the comment was, hey, listen, you betrayed your president the moment you allowed an event to happen. Okay, like when you're working at this level, if I was working for Mr. Trump and my job was to protect him, the first thing I do is follow my sword and I retire. I have failed him. Therefore, I have betrayed him, dude. Okay, like in war, there is no, hey, gosh, the guy didn't do his job. No, it's a failure. It's a betrayal, dude. Okay, like you let in an enemy. That's betrayal. In war, that's betrayal, dude. Like the lady, I don't give a fuck what sex she is. She did not do her job. And she made us look bad, and she risked a great hero of America if she didn't actually contribute to this. So as far as I'm concerned, the entire Secret Service is in betrayal. Until they admit what actually happened, they're all treasonous.
Have you seen that 3D image of Trump, how it showed like how his head turned and how the bullet went? That to me is just crazy, because you can kind of understand it from just looking at it live. But when I saw that 3D image, I was like, wow, it came that close.
Well, bro, you explain to me how that bullet even went into his right ear from that location. That bullet should have entered this part of his head. If he was shooting from that right here, this is the left side of my face, not the right ear. Okay, his right ear got clipped right here. Okay, bang, I moved here. That shooter was coming from here, dude. Remember, he was pointing to the right.
Yeah.
So I think that shot came from the water tower, bro. You start looking at these angles, you're like, well, he turned his head literally like this, man. That bullet didn't come from here, cutting across him. Anyway, look, somebody tried to assassinate the president of the United States, and it wasn't a little kid. And no chance, dude. No chance.
Do you think it's a coincidence that the assassination attempt failed and now a week later Biden's stepping down? Do you think that's at all related?
Oh, well, of course it is. Of course it is, man. I mean, he failed it. When you can't even execute an assassination with 2 or 3 shooters, there are clearly 2 shooters. Are you there yet? Do you understand? There were absolutely 2 shooters, dude. The acoustics will prove there were at least 2 shooters. And I think there were 9 rounds, not 6. There were not 9 rounds. I've heard all 9 rounds. I think there were 3 guns at least involved. And like why we don't have any of the information on the ballistics yet, I find amazing. We know what gun Crooks used, supposedly. We know what his rounds were. We know what the grain is. They know all this shit now, dude. We will have ballistics, people picking up all these fragments of weapons, of ballistics. So I don't know how you're going to get away with crimes like this in the future, man. You know, it's just all out there. We're not having to wait weeks and months and years anymore.
Why do you think Bitcoin dumped when Biden announced he was dropping out?
I didn't really notice that. I've heard people talk about it, but it didn't stay there. First off,
no.
Look, 11 minutes after the shooting last Saturday, the only market in the world that was open was Bitcoin. Literally 11 minutes after the first shot, Bitcoin moved $2,000. Okay. Now I had a man call me yesterday from the oil and gas business. His son told him my name came up in a conversation, and his son looked at him and said, "How do you know Gary Cardone? You mean Gary Cardone, the digital guy?" And Army looked at him and said, "You know Gary Cardone?" He said, "Oh, I listen to Gary Cardone 3 or 4 times a week. He's the one that got me into Bitcoin. Dad, you should buy Bitcoin." And Army said, "Hey, I've known this guy since I was 26 years old. he's buying Bitcoin. And so he calls me, right? And I talked about this. The 11 minutes after Biden got shot, the volume on Bitcoin was very aggressive. I think people looked at that event and went, wow, if there was ever a reason to have a sovereign coin, if they will shoot someone, they will most certainly take my money. They will most certainly fuck around with cash and money and value and assets and taxes, right? If they'll shoot, they'll do anything, dude. And to me, this was the market responding to, oh, wow, I need more sovereign freedom. I need more ability to control. Look, dude, they wanted to change the history of politics forever. They've done this since I was a child. If you can't figure out the value of Bitcoin after that event, then you're blind and oblivious to what the fuck's happening. Okay, there's 8 billion of 7.6 billion little pawns on this chessboard, and there's probably no more than 300 people pulling the strings. And Bitcoin to me is a way to neutralize these 300 people and give me a position with freedom and value that I can't extract anywhere else. And if I can't extract it, I have to become a prostitute to that system. I have to do somebody a favor and then owe them a favor in the future. And like, I'm going to die on this planet, dude, not owing anyone anything and being in a position where no one was ever able to buy me. And I think that's in a world where everyone is prostituting themselves. It's the best I can do. It's like, I'm just not going to get what's the word for it, compromised. And I think we live in a planet of just compromise over and over and over. You asked me earlier what I think is going to happen. I think if I'm the enemy of the United States, which I actually think the enemy is inside the United States, it is not an external unit. But if it were an external unit, I would start attacking us right now. We're absolutely our weakest. So my prediction is in the next 3 months, we are going to have a major repeating cyber attack like we had 4 days ago that no one's talking about anymore. That was the largest cyber attack in the history of the United States. And we are literally 4 days away from it and nobody's talking about it anymore. And I actually said this will happen. It's going to happen again. So we don't have an election. Okay. Look, these people are crazy at this point. I was listening to a scientist this weekend, and he said, look, 1% of the population is psychopathic. 2 to 3% of the population is sociopathic. And another 18 to 20% is just neurotic. So we have 20% of the world's population, 8 billion, it's 160 million people, dude, that are up. Now let's just take the psychopathic, which are, this is the Obamas. This is the Clinton. See, I think Clinton's still in this deal, dude. Like, you cannot make me believe that there was once Clinton, Bill, and Hillary. I think some of the smartest people ever in politics. Smartest ever in politics. Maybe not the nicest, but the smartest. And it is very difficult for me to believe that the Clintons 8 years ago just, propped up this Obama guy and they're going to walk away. You think Obama is smarter than Bill Clinton? Not a chance, dude. You think that Michelle is smarter than Hillary, or that Obama is smarter than Hillary? These people have been at this game a long time, dude. We're not over. This drama is going to escalate. We'll have another assassination attempt on the president, if not a completion. Could be an airplane blowing up. I don't know, dude, but I'm quite certain these creatures will pull more triggers. They will do whatever it takes to disrupt the next 4 months so that we don't get to an election, or that we get to an election and we end up with a Michelle Obama, or we end up with a Hillary Clinton, or more of the insane same that we've gotten for the last 8 years or so.